In this video I'm going to complete this casting. This needs this vertical bore boring to 1.25 inches to accept this shaft. I'm going to do that with a between centres boring bar. Now if you go back to the second video, I think you'll see I machined this face nice and flat, and it's perpendicular to the bores, and it is also perpendicular to this bore. And we've got the bottom is also machined flat and square. So my plan is to mount this in the lathe like this, or like this. It'll be mounted on some blocks to get this to the right height. Then I shall index along this face. On the surface plate, castings on 1, 2, 3 blocks just for convenience. And now I measure the height, the top of the casting. Then I measure the height at the bottom of the casting. Then a little bit of maths finds the centre of the casting, and I take off the 2 inches for the 1, 2, 3 blocks. So now I know the height of the centre of the bore. Now I can measure the centre height of the lathe. So I subtract the centre height of the bore from the centre height of the lathe, and I come up with 1.76 inches. And I've machined these 2 blocks out of some aluminium bar that I had lying around. These are 1.76 inches. So when the casting is mounted on these, it'll be at exactly the right height. This is the setup we've got. The casting is on the 2 aluminium blocks, strapped down with 2 strap clamps with M6 studs. I had to drill extra holes in the strap clamps, but that's no problem. And then we've got a bit of silver steel, that's ground flat bar, along here, which is just trapped with a stud and nut this end and a stud and nut this end. And that's flat along the base, and I've indexed along that. Right, now, after a good deal of tapping, I've got this straight. That's less than a thou. With the indicator and the steel bar out the way, we can fit the boring bar. Here's the boring bar setup. You may recognise it's a Hemingway Kits boring bar. I didn't like their idea of having a sacrificial centre held in a 3-jaw chuck, so I've just put a normal dead centre in the headstock with the surface plate. I modified the drive dog so that the length of the dog and the length of the drive pin means the drive pin will just go through one of the slots in the faceplate. I think it's a much better, much more accurate setup. I put a centre hole in this end that's not on the drawings. I did that for 2 reasons. One, so I can park this adjusting thimble, bracket, whatever you want to call it, when it's not in use to set the height of the cutter. And also it provides a nice counterweight so that the lathe isn't vibrating. It offsets the weight of the drive dog. And the tailstock is just a dead centre in the tailstock. Now obviously the height of this is set by the blocks, as we know. It's set true because I clocked it across the base, and that just leaves the Y position. And I did that simply by taking a gauge block and putting it there, and just by feel moving the cross slide till it felt nice and even. And then I tightened up the jib for the cross slide so the cross slide can't move. And that should give me a little bit more rigidity, as well as meaning I can't accidentally knock the handle. Now I didn't film the initial cuts because the skin inside here was quite hard and it was a right pain in the neck to get through. But now I've got through most of the skin, not all of it, we can take the next cut. Adjusting this is fairly simple. First of all, you put this thimble in position and tighten it up so that's nice and solid on the shaft. Then you wind this one in, and that thread is a little bit wobblier than I'd like. Sometime I shall make a new one so I can do a better job. Just tighten that up so it snugs up against the bottom of the cutting tool. Put your finger over the end of the cutting tool. Slacken the grub screw. Wind it in by the desired cut. This is a 40 TPI thread, so one turn is 25 thou. So I've gone half a turn, which is 10 thou, which will be a 20 thou off the diameter. Tighten that up again. Then move that out the way and park it back up by the faceplate. Now we're ready for the next cut. Now, of course, the only way to measure the bore is to take the boring bar out. Now I can get in there with the bore gauge. Now we're at 1.23, so we've got another 20 thou to go. Now I do want this one to be a nice good fit, so I'm going to take my time and sneak up on the dimension. It's going to be a bit tedious, so I shall bring you back when I'm finished. Okay, well this should be the last cut. Well, that's come out at half an hour over. Let's hope that the shaft will go in. It doesn't get much better than that. That has gone in nice and smoothly, and there is absolutely no wobble there whatsoever. I am very, very happy with that. Now this casting is complete. I just couldn't resist putting everything together. I must say I'm quite pleased with how it's looking at the moment. I can finally see something together for all my efforts. That's it for this video. In the next video I'll be looking at the first of the cotter pins, the support bar and the clamp that clamps onto the support bar. So more of the small stuff, but nevertheless another step along the Quorn journey. After that I'll get back to the casting for the wheel head, and then it gets a little bit more interesting again. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and if you have any comments, leave them below. I read them all and I answer nearly all of them. Thank you. See you soon.